Hey, buddy, how are you?
Saw your beautiful daughter with a baby. Came by Shabbos. Beautiful little one.
So
Little
nice.
one. Canine horse. Yes, that's your first one? Wonderful.
First of many, I hope.
Canine horse. How many?
I missed you. I was up in Oxnard for Yontif.
Yeah.
We had a big crowd over Simchas Torah.
Wow, wonderful. So did I. We had 60 people for Minyan here.
In the house? Wow. That's a lot.
That's a lot.
What is Mario saying?
Hey, Doctor.
Hi, Kenny.
It's saying that we're recording, but what do I know?
Remember, you have to stop the shear. Huh? Ernie, please host tonight's DAF. Also, please let know. Okay, I think he started the recording for some reason.
Yeah, the recording's on.
Okay. Tomorrow, we can learn at 8 in the morning. Or if it's easier for everybody, we could learn at 4:30 in the afternoon. Either one is fine with me. Is 4:30 in the afternoon better?
I for sure can't do 8.
Okay, so let's do 4:30. I'm going to send him a message tomorrow, 4:30 p.m.
Okay.
Okay. So we're on the Mishnah Chav Ches Amud Beis on the bottom. Lo yomer adam l'tabach shkoli b'diner basar. You shouldn't say on Yontif, remember they used to keep some stores open and go to the meat store and say, give me $1 worth of meat. No. If you mention the money, that's a no-no on Yontif. But he can shech the pieces and give it out without to his customers without, they don't mention the money. So how do they do it? They would say, give me a chuck steak, or give me a flank steak, or give me a rib steak. They would describe a part of the animal. They would say, give me a half of the carcass, or a quarter of the carcass. Or they would say, give me a quarter or an eighth, but not the amount of money. You can go to a store and say, okay, fill up with wine this kli, but not a measuring kli. To have him measure half a liter. That's too much like schol. If the person who gives it to the grocer gives a measuring kli, the grocer should not fill it. He would actually measure out a liter, Erev Yontiv, let it settle, and give it to people on Yontiv, because it was a more exact measurement, because the froth, the foam, that would settle, and in that method. So he would do it in Chol Hamoed too. To give more exact measurement. The you should do it during, not even on Yontiv, any day. So that a person knows exactly how much measurement is due to him. So what does it mean? You can fill up a kli of alo b'mida. Means it's not that he's not going to give you half a liter. He'll give you half a liter more or less. he cannot give it to you in a special measuring vessel. Now, of a kliya oimid lemida, let's say the vessel had never been used before, then you malenu, then you could use it. Even a kli that is a measuring kli that had never been used, you still shouldn't use it. Comes out, Gabi Simchas Yontif, Rabbi Yehuda l'chumra, Rabbanan l'kula. Rabbi Yehuda is more machmir, but that seems to be opposite. It's not Rabbi Yehuda Omer. Shoik aladim basar keneged hakli keneged hakupitz. Yesterday we learned, or 2 days ago we learned, that you could measure a piece of meat against a knife. You couldn't use the regular weights. And he said you couldn't use a balanced weight at all. A knife or a butchering, some kind of butchering device that you measured, that's not a measuring kli. So he's more machmir. When you use a balance beam, you're doing a weekday work. Here, you're not doing it necessarily like you do it in Chol. You shouldn't mention, I want a gallon or I want a quart. But you could use the kli. Even if you don't use the language. And again, comes out, Rabbi Yehuda is more stringent. And we are the opposite. You could measure meat against a knife. So there we see it was Chachami were machmir. Rabbi Yehuda l'kula Rabbanan l'chumra. Kasher Rabbi Yehuda kasher Rabbanan Rabbanan. There Rabbi Yehuda kasher asam b'shein miyuchad l'mida. A knife or a kupitz is not a vessel that is a measuring vessel. But hacham miyuchad l'mida. So here is more stringent. Rabbanan nami lo kasher asam kavi kavim b'chol. There, by using a balance beam, you're doing something that you do during the week. We don't want to do that on Yontif. Here, you're not doing something only that's done on Chol. So people buy wine because they bring a special kli midah. So it's not an inyan shel mekach only. Ma'aser Baba Shol ben Botnis, who used to measure out Erev Yontif and delivered Yontif. Tana and Af b'chol hamoed oisakim. They bitul beis hamedrash because he would do it at night when he wasn't learning in the yeshiva. In the morning he would deliver it, then he wouldn't waste his time during the day when he was learning Torah. Torah banahu kana sholosh me'ez garbiyan mibrei midos. Abba Shol was a grocer. And he was so careful about the fact that he was worried that he was cheating some of his customers by not giving them the full amount because of the foam. And therefore he profited some. He would gather 300 garve, which is a certain measurement of oil or wine, and he would give it to the Beis HaMikdash. Chaver of Konsul Shoshmas Garbi Shemim would say Amidas. To give it back, they didn't want to benefit from that. You don't have to, Gizborim said, you don't have to do this. But we don't want to benefit. Listen, when you charge whatever you charge and they pay, it's already part of the deal, this extra foam. So you're being machbar on yourself? Also, you want to do something? Give it for public usage. What's that? The Tanya Gozal V'Nedelmi, if somebody stole, you don't know who you stole from, you should go for public use. Building sewage, building caves, or cisterns for water, which the public uses. They gave Rav Na'ukna the permission to darshan. Lo yindod adam sa'arim v'yitel ifnei be'ento b'yontif. You shouldn't measure like a bushel worth of barley in front of your animal. Aval koidehu kavu kavan. You can take the pile of barley, take a kav measurement out from the center. The noise of that you can put in front of the behemoth. And then that's not that you really measured. Because you didn't measure mamish. You took generally the amount. The baker can measure spices, otherwise the whole thing's going to get ruined. A woman can measure exactly how much flour to put in her dough because she knows if she gives a certain amount, then she has to give challah karoi, ends up giving a lot of challah. Shmuel Omar still osir. She should do it by estimation. Shmuel mutter. There's another Girsa on Shmuel that he permitted. Omar by Hashd Amar Shmuel osir. V'tanavei Shmuel mutter. Shmuel halach l'maisa osir l'shma'inan. Shmuel came to tell me that there's a baraisa that's matir. And he had to come and say halach l'maisa that it's not matir, that it's osir. And we paskin that it's osir. That you shouldn't measure lechatchila the flour on yontif.
So it turns out that the measuring is just not just, but is a gezerah dirabanan, correct?
Yes.
And it's based on what? Is it l'shema? You'll come to lichtov. Shema, you'll come to business.
No, it's like uvda dechol. It's something. It's part of mischar mekach umemkar.
Okay.
Ein chanami. It's a gzeir drabanan. Torah rabbanan ein shoinin kemach biyontif. You cannot sieve your flour a second time. It's too much of a tirchi yisera. Mishum Rav Papis, Rav Yehuda ben Seir, shoinin. They say you can. L'chatchila you shouldn't do it, says the halacha, even with a shinu. V'shavim shenafal l'soichan tzor kisim sheshoin. Now, if a stone or a twig fell into it, then you can sieve it again. You can't repeat the sieving. You can do it with your hand. So that you cannot do it because it's like boirer mamish. You're allowed to do a secondary sieving. We don't need your chidushin that you're mechadesh us here. Look, everybody out there, all the housewives are already doing it. They're already doing it twice. You can do it on your table twice. And if a twig or a rock fell in, you're certainly allowed to do it with a sieve, but without a shinui. The visit Rav Yosef Noala Kimcha Gabadim Maholsa. She would do this from the side as a shinui. You don't have to do it. You can do it directly. The visit Rav Asher Noala Kimcha Gabadim Psoira. She did the sieving on a table. That's her shinui. Ravashi Hadi Don Barte de Rami Bar Chama. She saw this from the daughter of Rami Bar Chama. Rami Bar Chama Mara de Oivda Havda. He was the expert in this. He must have seen it by his wife, the wife of his father, or her father, and he had the Masorah about that. Mishnah. You could go to the grocer on Yontif that knows you. That goes in b'minyan. You could say, I need a dozen eggs, or I need a dozen walnuts. That's not necessarily a mekach umimcha, because you count in your house as well. Oh, I'm going to use a dozen eggs for this recipe. And the Gemara gives us other examples. So you can go to your shepherd. Give me one goat or one sheep. You can go to your butcher. Give me a pulka, give me a thigh. This was somebody who fattened up cows or other animals. He would say, give me, or birds, give me one turtle dove or one pigeon. Give me one loaf of bread. Give me 20 eggs. 50 walnuts. Farskin 10 persimmons or pears, whatever the farsikin is. 5 pomegranate but don't mention like a liter, a pound, or a bushel. You can mention the number, because even Balabatim say it. Rabbi Shimon ben Elazar Omer, and you also shouldn't say, give me $1 worth or $10 worth. The halakha is like the Gemaras we quoted.
Really, a person could stop at Starbucks on their way to shul.
Okay, so 4:30 tomorrow.
Laila Tov.
We behind the blot. What behind are we? Are we one blot behind?